Hi, my name is Miranda Cruz, and I wanted to create this video for you if you are going through the process of obtaining an 504 or an IEP for your child. I know as many moons ago as it was for me, it was a very arduous process, and I know it's a very emotional, taxing process, so I wanted to see if any of the resources that I used would be helpful for you. Chances are, if you're watching this video, you have found some of the free resources and downloads. If you haven't, check out 7graces.org. You'll find the service tab and you'll scroll down, and there is a 504 IEP resources page, and everything there is free and downloadable, lots of different resources. And this video is about a tool that I really want you to think about using. So when I started with my child, he actually started with a 504, which is a medical disability. And it was a little bit arduous because it was just not a lot of information was known about it. And I just kind of had to start from scratch. And so, and our administration was supportive, but then also, they didn't really know what they could get away with and what they couldn't. And so I really had to just create everything myself and do all the research and background information first, and then present it to them so that they could adhere to it and learn about it. And that's the one thing I'll tell you, is that you are your child's biggest advocate. You are probably your child's only advocate. And it's not because the education system or the school itself or the district doesn't want to support you. It's just that they have their own liabilities that they need to think about, and you're one fish in a big sea. And so they have to look at the overall broad picture. And so if they really aren't sure the information, it's going to take them longer to figure out what your child needs and what's legally accommodating for them. So this is a binder that I created, and this went in with me to every meeting. And it was a little bit intimidating in the beginning because like I said, we had SST meetings, or the Student Success Team meeting, SST, with the teachers, and that takes 6 months to kind of observe your child, and you're not really in an IEP yet. And unfortunately, the school district won't tell you how to do this process. You kind of just have to learn it on your own. So kind of as I wrote in the notes on the webpage, but I'll tell you now, if your child is having any type of medical need and or learning deficiency, and you're talking with your teacher and things just aren't, you're not on the same page, you request an SST, which is a student success plan. They can observe your child more in a detailed fashion. And what I would say is your child's teacher is going to do, their assessments, but you do your own assessments at home, save your own documentation, what they're struggling with, what they can't do at home. It's going to be different than school, but at least they know that you're also on the same page with your child. And all of that is going to go in this binder so that for future reference, everything is just in one spot and you take it with them. So I actually did a lot of research when we were starting out, and I copied everything. So I copied the CDC guidelines for any medical disability and or learning deficiency. I copied the state parent rights. I got the handbook and copied that and included that, made all these tabs. I put all of his medical information that I needed that was in reference to what accommodations I needed at school. I kept notes between me and the teachers. I kept emails between administration, conversations. I put everything in their own spot in the same place so that when we go to these meetings, it's not he said, she said. It's like, if there's a concern and you feel like you're not getting the support, you're not going in there with guns blazing, but you have all of the documentation and the data from all the conversations that you've had in one spot, so that just supports you and saying, well, we talked about this, or she mentioned this, and what about this? And it just kind of cuts out the legwork from them going, oh, well, I'll look into that. It's all just going to be right here. And so with that being said, so after your SST meeting and time frame is been established, usually takes about 6 months. The teacher can observe that this whatever is going on with the learning style, the teaching style, whatever they're presenting, and if it's not working, then they can really say from their documentation that they've done their due diligence with the assessments and we need to take a step farther. But they still won't do it on their own. You have to, as a parent, ask, and they're not going to tell you to ask. And so how you do that is there is a state letter link on the website, and this letter, you can read it, but it just basically initiates that you want your child to be assessed by the child psychologist of the school district. And that is for any learning delays, any learning disabilities. These delays can also be a cause from medical disability, which ours started out with. And this just kind of puts you in a different bracket of getting more services, whether it's speech, whether it's an aid, whether accommodations for where your child sits in the classroom, you name it. And how you're going to do that is you're going to write the letter, you're going to tailor it to you. I actually got this from a state website, and that link is also on the website. And what you're going to do is you're going to take this letter, any documentation that you have kept and assessed your child with. I kept work and all my questions and concerns. I listed them. I attached that to the letter, and then I put it in a manila envelope, sealed it, addressed it to the administration. And then I had this letter out on the side, and it is kind of like a receipt. And it says, so I had somebody deliver this because I work full time and I can't always be there to do, the drop off and the pickup. And so I asked my mom to take this letter, and she is to hand this envelope to the administration and get a signed receipt saying that whoever took it, whether it was the nurse, the secretary, the vice president, the president, whoever, a parent helper, they sign their name and signature, and she signs her name and signature stating that she witnessed they received it. So this is just kind of like a secure way for you to know, okay, you might follow up later and say, hey, I just wanted to say where's the process and my request. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. We haven't seen it yet. We'll look for it. This is your receipt, and it is legal binding. So I don't think this is uploaded, so I'll upload it as a link as well, and you can take a look at that and revise it and put your information in it. And that you'll keep with you. You'll put it in your binder. And like I said, so this is a huge tool for you to feel a little bit more supported and to go into a meeting. And that way, when let's say a situation comes up and they say, oh, well, we can't accommodate that Mrs. Cruz because of whatever reason. Sometimes they do find ways of like loopholes of expressing their lack of ability to make accommodations. And you can just respectfully and politely go, well, can you explain that to me? Because the CDC says this, and the state website for parental rights and the district website for parental rights says XYZ. So I'm not saying for you to memorize this from start to finish, but it would be good for you to review it. And what I did was I highlighted things that maybe pertain more to our situation and questions and concerns, so that I'm a person that I want to know. Yes, you might say that you have a plan. How are you going to execute that plan? How are you going to make sure that your staff knows the appropriate accommodations and that it's not impeding social and emotional impact on my child? So that's kind of where I started. And then we actually moved from 504 to an IEP. And for us, the reason we did that is because we can't have both. The state won't let you have both. But his medical disability no longer impeded his learning deficiency, because we had gotten his medical autoimmune disease under control. And so once we did that, we couldn't really blame it on that. And so then we had to really start looking into why are these deficiencies still present? And that's where the IEP came in. So, you'll even see it says student success plan. So we started with one, and then as it got more defined, I split the information up into two, and they do both go with me to meetings. And they kind of chuckle. Sometimes they're just like, oh, here she comes with her binders. And we've kind of established, you know, a relationship. But um, I'll never forget the look on their face. It was like, whoa, what's going on? And it's not, like I said, we're not going in with guns blazing and starting arguments, and we can be respectful and advocate for our children, because we want these teachers, admin, anybody that deals with your child on campus, we want to have a relationship with them, and we want it to be a good relationship because that's going to trickle down to your child. And there are a lot of people on campus that are going to encounter your child. Noon duties, aides, there's a lot of teachers that from other areas like librarians, janitors, that they'll bring in that have some type of teaching experience to read with your child, to take out and do this activity a different way. And so you want to really establish that. So this is meant as a tool, but it's also meant as a support for you to know that you are, well, they're going to know that you're serious and that you're here to stay and that you are well educated as much as you can be. The other thing I did do was I did listen to a lot of lawyers and advice. I haven't found those links because it's been a little over 10 years since I first did this. So I will find those and upload them to the page as well. But I wanted to get started with this. So the other things that I did include was some more research on his specific learning disability. He is dyslexic, and so that is a completely different can of worms, but I wanted to make sure that I knew and I was versed in his specific needs and what the school can and can't accommodate, because there are some things that they're just not going to be able to accommodate for just reality. If they were to provide services for him, it would be like a completely different person, and they'd have to be trained in a completely different program. And so there are some things though that they could do to accommodate and to implement in his learning plan. So other things that I included were, I'm an educator, and so I included things that I have done with him at home so that they know that he's getting this constant support. And even after that, if there's a deficiency, then that's another red flag and something that should be in the documentation and addressed. So that, and just, everything that, like I said, all of the work that he brought home, all report cards, everything's in one spot. A lot of I didn't keep everything like as far as work in there, but it's a lot of the things that I have concerns about, questions. How come he could do this there, but he can't do it here? Or he can't do it with me. I would write notes on, I kept like a little journal on how homework would go at home. And, you know, I'd be completely honest with that. If you don't have time to do homework with your child because you and your husband work full time or you're a single parent, you need to document that, because we need to know where he or she really needs supplemental work and support, and that's only going to help them tailor what his accommodations are needed. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. I hope that this tool is good for you, that it supports you, that you find it doable. It's like I said, we've had an IEP now for, I think, like 10, 11 years. So it's definitely something that's really helped us. And there's always adjustments that are going to be made to an IEP, but I'll do another video kind of addressing how to maintain that and support your relationships with your child's educators. So thanks again, and take care. And I hope that your process is less painful than mine. Take care. Bye-bye.